Welcome back. That was a feature on the beautiful gallerias and centers for hospitality and tourism in and around the beautiful city of Abuja. Moving on, up next, we will have a discussion on the need for professionalizing hospitality and tourism sector in Nigeria through regulatory services. And helping me to do that, I have a professional in that field as my guest already seated with me. Let's welcome the Director of Hospitality Management, National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, Mr. Ibrahim Baba. Good morning.
It's my pleasure having you here with me.
I'm so happy to have you here in the studio.
Thank you.
I want you to start by explaining to us what are the sectors that make up the hospitality and tourism industry.
Well, thank you very much. Let me first of all even look at tourism itself.
Okay.
Let's ask ourselves what is tourism. You see, tourism is a phenomenon that involves the movement of people away from their destination, for a period of not less than 24 hours and not greater than 365 days, for reasons relating to leisure, recreation, and all what have you. But such movement of people away from their destination should not involve any commercial or profitable activities. That is tourism.
Yeah.
And
Purely relaxation.
purely relaxation, recreation, and some other activities related to that. Then we look at what are the components of tourism. Tourism constitutes, the industry constitutes many segments. You have the accommodation as a segment, you have the catering services as a segment, you have the leisure and entertainment sector as a segment, then you have a tour, you have travel, and all what have you, right? So tourism is one of the great contributor to any nation economy in the world.
Okay. It's a great contributor to the world's economy.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, so now, why is it so important that we should professionalize hospitality? Let's look at the staff, the personnel.
Yes, exactly. It is very important if we want tourism to grow, tourism to contribute importantly to the nation GDP. Then it means, the quality of the personnel working in that sector will obviously have to be improved so that the quality of service that people are receiving will agree with all the fees and other prices that people are paying for it. Typical example, look at our hotels. You discover that some of the personnel, that are working in that hotel, their quality service is something to worry about. A receptionist will check in, he will not look polite to you. It will look as something is wrong with him or something is wrong with her. Similarly, you discover that a guest sometimes, if he enter, he has to ask for one thing or the other, and he will be left unattended to. That will lead to a dissatisfied guest. And a dissatisfied guest means what? Obviously, no repeat in business. And with no repeat in business, it will tell on the turnover performance of that hotel in question. And at the end of the day, is that hotel really helping the economy of the state? The answer is no. Therefore, this is why it is very, very important. Personnel of the sector, they have to be or they have to be professionalized. How will they be professionalized in that? They have to be certified by a regulatory agency. The regulatory agency is National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, whose establishment bill was signed into law in 2022 by the then administration of General Muhammad Buhari. So as it is now, the agency is really doing up and on to ensure that all the personnel in the sectors, number one, are being certified. And the certification itself is a process. The process starts with registration.
Registration prior to even beginning business.
Exactly. Personnel of the sector are required to get registered with that regulatory agency. Then, having been registered, then number two, it involves what we call maybe a training program. This training program is being segmented. We have what we call internship, and we have what we call continual professional development. All these one are assessment parameters that are being used at the end of the day to qualify person for final certification. So when one is being certified, then thereafter one will be issued with operational license to practice either as a waiter or as a receptionist or as a chef, because you have different level and cadre of employees working in that sector. So through that, you can see the professional practice is being encouraged. And secondly, all sort of maybe misconduct in the discharge of their duties could be avoided, just like what is happening with other professional bodies in the country, like ICANN, like ANAN, like Center for Medical and others. You know that, if you are found wanting in the discharge of your duties, at any time your professional license can easily be revoked. That is exactly with hospitality and tourism industry in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. I will have to pause you at this point for now. We'll take a very short break to bring you a report on the importance of tourism around the world. Stay with us.
It is a bridge that connects cultures, community, and nations. The World Tourism Day is not just mere jamborees, it is a celebration of collective potential to build a more peaceful world. The sector's potential to promote cultural exchange, preserve heritage, and protect the environment. The day also recognizes the impact of responsible travel on local communities and the environment, as well as the power of tourism to unite people, fostering culture, understanding and driving the economic growth. To Nigerians, the tourism potential is large. Hence, both government and the private sector can promote tourism in their environments to boost the potential of the community.
Global contribution to tourism to the GDP, the global, is 10%. In a country like Gambia, they have about 17.7% controlling contribution of tourism to the economy of Gambia. Nigeria's tourism contribution to its GDP stands today at 4%, where countries like Gambia are doing 17%, South Africa 10%, Egypt 13.7%, Kenya 9%. These are what other African countries, we're not even looking at Europe, we're talking about our brothers and sisters in other African countries. Even countries like Brazil has moved from 7.8% to 9.6%.
It will impact positively on the lives of individuals and the economy.
Okay, welcome back to our studio discussions. It's still Good Morning Abuja, and that was a feature report on the importance of tourism around the world. We will continue now with the subject of the day. So I was asking about the emotional well-being of the guests, and this has to do with the ambience of the place that they walk into. What is the perfect setting for a good ambience for a tourism resort center?
Well, a tourism resort center is characterized by, number one, the location. being very, very exclusive from a very busy city center.
Okay.
Should be now, be located away from noisy area, where, because all what the guests require, number one, is quietness.
Relaxation.
Number two is the beautification of the scenery of that, resort. It all depends on what type of resort. Sometimes even a farmland, farm area, could be converted to a resort because so greenish, so that you can now have some of these seeds, fruits is of appeal there. Or number two, the
Like an
resort
orchard.
like an orchard. God bless you. And sometimes it could be some of these maybe
Wildlife.
that are being located within that. So you can see these are the things that are not supposed to be located in the busy or in the heart of the town where there are a lot of noise, disturbances from people. That is number two. Then number three, when you look at even the design and layout of accommodation facility, is another characteristics of the resort. Because any good resort, most especially when you design their room in a form of chalet, you know, the chalet should be wide enough to accommodate a balcony, whereby a person now is tired staying inside his room can easily come out a balcony, now to come
And
and
get a good view.
and get a good view of the environment. So there are many
Okay.
things like that. Yeah.
All right, still talking on adequately training personnel to function efficiently in the industry. Will it be a good one to make sure you train them in a way that they are carriers of Nigeria's culture? Because I see that the tourism industry, they are the ones that receive our visitors, especially our foreign visitors. They're the ones that receive them into the country, make sure they settle in and and enjoy the right things that the country has to offer. What is the best way to train the staff in a way that they convey our culture positively from the way that they dress to the food that they serve and all of that, so that guests will always, just like we look forward to going to Dubai, people will also look forward to coming to Nigeria.
Thank you so much once again. Culture.
Culture.
Culture is very important anywhere in the world because any country that cannot identify its culture, then something is wrong. Then when we look at culture, culture is a totality of life, is a total way of life. The food, the drinks, the communication, all tells about the clothing, tells about culture. This is why, in this case, any type of training program that we are designing at different level and cadre, where I say at different level and cadre is that you have training for craftsmen.
Okay.
Craftsmen are the people that are doing the actual work. For instance, in the hotel setting, you have the waiters, you have the chef, you have the receptionists, and you have the housekeeping staff. This range of occupations are called craft, craft work. If you are running a program for supervisors and as well as for the top management staff too, it has now become so imperative for us to have impute, some of our or majority of our culture in Nigeria because we are not attracting only Nigerians as our guests. We are equally having foreigners. For instance, if I'm running a program, maybe if I'm designing maybe training program on improving maybe culinary arts of Nigeria, culinary improvement of culinary arts, for instance, of that hotel or of any hotel or of any hotel establishment. Then within my training, proposal, I should be able to look at, okay, what type of menu am I teaching this employee of that place? I should be able not only to concentrate on foreign dishes, no. I should be able to look at popular Nigerian food. We call it cyclical menu that goes around the six geopolitical zone.
Okay.
My sister, jollof rice.
Jollof.
Jollof rice
Niger
is a national cuisine.
Nigerian jollof.
Nigerian jollof. When you say even gari, it's a national cuisine.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an Easterner or I'm not a Westerner or rather from the South, but I eat gari. Egusi is equally one of the national menu.
Menu.
If I now say tuwon masara too, it's a national menu. So Nigeria is rich.
We embraced it.
We embrace it. I should be able to use a standard recipe and now teach chefs that are working in that hotel on how to produce those menus. Not even teaching them on how to produce that menu, but of course, we should be able to really reflect that menu in the hotel menu card. The same thing with maybe dressing. We should be able to earmark some days in the week that our hotel receptions should appear in our traditional attire. This day, for instance, I've seen in some hotel, Friday for Muslims.
So traditional wears.
Sundays, you will see that, in our traditional wears. And some of them, they vary. Some of them, they do it Monday and Fridays.
Okay.
But there is no way throughout the week that you will see them always reflect. No, it has to reflect.
Thank you very much. For want of time, before you go, is there a way that other sectors can partner with the institute, like our writers, our movie makers, even content creators on social media? How can they partner with the institute to further propagate what we do in culture and tourism in Nigeria?
This is why at this point, I have to register gratitude to the current Director General of our institute. Okay. That is Dr. Abisoye Fagade, who was recently appointed. Honestly, I can see the man is raising to a greater height. The man is facing with all sense of sincerity and commitment, implementing the agency's establishment bill. Okay. That is regulatory practice. And in his quest at doing that, he is busy trying to collaborate with relevant agencies, trying to partner with relevant agencies. For instance, not quite long, he has paid several visits to many agencies that are having identical or similar mandate like NIHOTO. Example, he was with Standard Organization of Nigeria, he was with NAFDAC, he went to NUC, and many other agencies. And even the private sector, who are considered to be the consumers of all the services that we are rendering. He's making a concerted effort to see that he brings them on board in whatever policies and programs he executes. But I bet you, in the next, with the way we are moving, in the next 1 year, we should be able to certify almost 75% of the industry personnel in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, and we hope that the Nigerian tourism industry will be one that's very enviable all around the world.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Well, you heard it there. What more can I say? Let's love our own. Let's promote our own. Let's make our own the envy of the rest of the world. Stay with us on Good Morning Abuja. We'll take a short break and the show will continue right after. Okay, you may already know that the Gbagi people are the indigenous settlers of Abuja city. Up next, we'll bring you a feature on the culture of the Gbagi people. I hope you will find it interesting.
The African Traditional Society has continued to survive the erosion and threats of modernization for a very long time. And for the Gbagi-speaking people of Dusepe, their umbilical cultural tie is forever, as the expression of their identity gives them the pride to stamp their authority of ancestral lineage and heritage, especially in the face of eroding cultural norms and values. Dusepe Annual Cultural Carnival at its 7th year became a unique rallying point for sons and daughters of Dusei.
I introduced it, and the reason of introducing it was because I discovered that gradually the culture of Gbagi people is eroding, and people are embracing the British culture in addition to Hausa culture. So that I thought of it, I said no, if we do not do something about it, a day is coming that Gbagi nation, Gbagi tribe will go on extinct, that people will no longer know that there was anything that is known as a Gbagi people. I was surprised to see that in some families, that a couple or a family that are Gbagi people living in Gbagi land, but the children cannot speak the Gbagi language, which is very, very bad. Because when you forget your major identities, then you are also forgotten by people. What I have said is not just happening in Dusepe community. If you go through the nations of Gbagi or the Gbagi nations, you will discover that people have forgotten their language, especially our brethren in areas like Niger, Minna, in Nasarawa State, Kogi State. If you see 2, 3, 4 Gbagi people, you hardly hear them speaking the language. Rather, they speak either Hausa or they speak English.
In a mix of younger and older generations, with the intent to transmit the valued culture, custodians of the people's tradition did not leave anything out. With the intent well defined, the day also provides an opportunity to realign and reassess communal living and peaceful coexistence.
For centuries, masquerades have remained largely a symbol of culture and customs. In Nigeria, they also depict the origins of a particular ethnic group. With religious awareness in the 20th century, masquerades became more relevant as an institution for cultural entertainment instead of perceived diabolical practices. Also, modernization has caused it to be used more for tourist attractions when they come out in colorful regalia accompanied by traditional dances and music. The masquerade is one cultural heritage that most Nigerian ethnic groups have in common. It holds some significance to most tribes. Some regard it as ancestral spirits sent to monitor the activities of men. Some see them as law enforcers of the past who act as guardians of moral laws, prescribing suitable punishment for offenders with the aim of sanitizing the land. Masquerades are an integral part of the cultures of the indigenous tribes in the FCT. They are used for cleansing the land, traditional festivals, and burial activities.
The Baggy national colors represent the people's journey, and so whenever occasions present them opportunities to fly it, it is like a homecoming for the Baggy descents. From the cultivation patterns, the food, acts of war, dance, artifacts, hunting, and many more, it is Renaissance blends modernity.
It is unfortunate that our people have forsaken our cultures and traditions, but that is not what civilizations say. Therefore, we should embrace our culture.
We are trying to impart this culture into the children, both the boys and the girls, so that they know that this is our culture, this is our values, these are how things are made, these are how things are called in their original nature.
The palace of the Sanyanyai played hosts to the event, and the people left nothing to chance without sense of pride. This war party is led by the Wakili Nyanya. What they have come to do is to reassure the Sanyanya that there is no cause for worry, as his territory is fully fortified. For some of the dignitaries, the need to protect the Baggy heritage from the threat of modernity need not be emphasized, and therefore are full of praises for the organizers of the annual event. While recanting the fond memories and beauty the Baggy culture holds, their apprehension is globalization and its negative influence, but however, advised that such culture contact and acculturation can be explored to preserve the values of the people.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us today on the show. It's Monday, and we like to talk about money on the show every morning. Up next, we'll bring you money saving tips.